Baby, we are incredibly fortunate to have found each other in this lifetime. It feels as though the universe aligned perfectly to bring us together, allowing us to experience a connection so powerful, so deep, and so pure. I know our love has its complications, and I'm aware of how it has turned our lives into a roller coaster ride, full of highs and lows, twists and turns that we never anticipated. But even in the midst of all this chaos, can you imagine what life would be like if we had never met? If we had just passed by each other without even knowing what we were missing? To me, even the pain and longing that this love brings are more bearable than the idea of never having met you. This love, this bond that we share, is worth every tear we've shed. It's a love so intense, so divine, that no matter how much time we spend together, it never feels like enough. There's always a desire for more moments, more memories, more of you. I sometimes find myself wondering, what if I were to lose all my memories one day? What if everything else faded away? Even in that scenario, I hope I'd never forget you. You're etched into the deepest parts of my soul, and that's not something time or circumstance could ever erase. Of course, there are times when I get frustrated, when everything feels so complicated, and I wish that things could just be simpler. Sometimes, it feels like everything would be easier if there weren't so many obstacles standing between us. But even in those moments, I have never wished that I hadn't met you. That thought has never once crossed my mind. I'd choose this painful longing over a life where you don't exist, 100 times over. I would endure the ache, the confusion, and the uncertainty again and again if it meant that I could keep you in my life in some way, no matter how small or fleeting that presence might be. I know it's difficult for others to understand what I feel. I've tried to explain it to people, but they just don't get it. And I don't blame them. I probably wouldn't have understood it either if I hadn't experienced it myself. It's not something you can easily put into words, this feeling that defies logic and reason. It's like trying to describe the ocean to someone who's never seen water. You can't explain its vastness, its depth, its beauty, or its power unless you've been immersed in it. People often tell me I'm a fool for still holding on to hope, especially since so much time has passed since we last spoke. They say I should move on, that it's not healthy to keep clinging to something that might never be. But how can I? My heart tells me you are mine, and even the mere thought of someone else doesn't sit right with me. It feels wrong, like forcing a piece into a puzzle where it doesn't belong. My heart simply can't accept anyone else. I've tried to let go, I've tried to distract myself, but nothing works because my love for you is so deeply ingrained. I don't know what the universe has in store for us or for this connection, but I do know this: you hold my heart in your hands. I've entrusted it to you, and there's no taking it back. I'm waiting, patiently, for a miracle to happen because I believe that it will. I believe that a love as pure and strong as ours is meant to reach its culmination. It's not the kind of love that fades away or weakens over time, it only grows stronger, even when everything else seems to fall apart. My heart, mind, and soul are all in agreement that we belong together, and that's not something I can easily walk away from. Sometimes I wonder if I'm just fooling myself by holding on to this light of hope. I wonder if I'm being naive, if I'm burning a candle that should have been extinguished long ago. But I can't help it. I have complete faith in the universe, and in the power of love. God sees how truly I love you, and I trust that if you want something with all your heart, the universe will find a way to bring it to you. That's the kind of love I have for you, one that believes, against all odds, that miracles can happen. I'm still waiting for my miracle. I haven't told you any of this directly because I don't want to disturb you, not yet. I don't want to burden you with my feelings or force you into a decision. I'm willing to wait until the universe shows me the right way to be with you. I know this connection is meant to happen. We've been together in every lifetime, and I believe we will be together in this one too. It feels like a promise that stretches across time, something sacred and eternal. God is working in our favor, even if it doesn't always feel that way. Our time for union is coming. I don't know when, and I don't know how, but I can feel it. There's a part of me that's certain, deep down, that this love isn't meant to be left incomplete. It's true love, and true love always finds a way. It doesn't matter how many obstacles are thrown in our path, or how many times we're told it's impossible. I have faith that what we have is real, and that it's worth fighting for. So, until that day comes, I will keep loving you with everything I have. I will keep believing, and I will keep waiting. Because you are worth it. And our love, no matter how complicated, is worth it. My dear, you know, I'm genuinely surprised at how well you sometimes read me. Until now, no one has been able to understand me as deeply as you do. There's a kind of magic in the way you've connected with me that I never thought was possible. Before you entered my life, I felt like a lost puppy, one that might have looked fine on the outside, but was completely messed up on the inside. I wore a mask, pretending to be okay, but deep down, I was far from it. I had no sense of peace. My mind was constantly racing with worries, and I always felt like there was this heavy cloud hanging over me. I was merely existing, not truly living. My life was full of uncertainties, and I always found myself drowning in endless overthinking. Trust was another issue. It seemed impossible for me to fully open up to anyone. I was guarded, always putting up walls, afraid of letting people see the real me. I thought if I did, they'd judge me or take advantage of my vulnerabilities. I built a shell around myself, trying to protect whatever was left of my fragile self. There were times when I just wanted to be left alone, to shut myself off from the world, avoiding interactions with anyone, even if it meant sacrificing companionship. I started to dislike socializing because I felt that nobody truly understood me, so I asked myself, what's the point of pretending? It felt exhausting to put on a facade every day. I was stuck in this negative mindset, disoriented about everything, and unsure of where my life was heading. I was constantly battling with thoughts that kept dragging me down, leaving me feeling empty and disconnected. I wasn't living, I was just going through the motions, waiting for each day to end, without any real hope or purpose. It was a lonely and difficult place to be in, and I never imagined I could ever find a way out. But then, everything changed the moment you entered my life. You brought a kind of light that I never knew I needed. Suddenly, I realized this world wasn't as bad as I had always believed. You made me see that there are good people out there, people who genuinely care, who want nothing more than your time and attention, without any hidden motives. You made me believe in kindness again. As I started to get to know you, I found myself drawn to you in ways I had never experienced before. It was like a magnetic pull that I couldn't resist. I began to look forward to our conversations, to those moments when we just sit and talk about anything and everything. Spending time with you became the highlight of my days. It amazed me how effortlessly you understood me, even when I was struggling to express my thoughts. There were times when I didn't have to say a single word, and yet you seemed to just know what I was feeling. It was as if you could see right through me, straight to the core of my being. That kind of understanding was something I had always longed for, but never thought I would find. I felt like I had been transported to a different universe, one where I was seen, heard, and valued. I was spellbound by this newfound connection. The more time I spent with you, the more I realized just how much I wanted to be around you. It felt so refreshing, so liberating to be with someone who accepted me for who I am, without expecting me to change or be someone I'm not. For the first time, I felt a genuine sense of happiness from within, something I hadn't experienced in what felt like forever. Life no longer seemed like a series of obstacles I had to endure. It became something I wanted to embrace, and I began to see hope where there was once only despair. I had a new hope in my heart that maybe, just maybe, I too could find the love I had always dreamed of but never thought I deserved. Being with you made me feel safe in a way that I had never felt before. I could share my thoughts, my fears, my insecurities, everything, without the fear of being judged or misunderstood. This was all so new to me. I had always been so careful about what I shared with people, afraid that they would see me as weak or flawed. But with you, all those fears just melted away. I felt like telling you everything about myself, things I had never dared to share with anyone else. For the first time in my life, I felt truly heard. I felt like my presence mattered, that someone actually cared about what I had to say, how I felt, and who I was. Trust me when I say, I have never been happier than I am now. There's a sense of fulfillment and contentment that fills my heart, and I owe that to you. Thank you, sweetheart, for being so open-minded and understanding. Thank you for accepting me with all my flaws and imperfections. I know I have many faults, but you've never made me feel inferior or less than you in any way. You've always treated me with respect, love, and kindness. You've made me feel valued and accepted, and I cannot tell you how much that means to me. I have never been more amazed than I am now, by how you've managed to bring out the best in me. It feels like you've opened up a part of my heart that I had locked away for so long. I don't know how you came into my life, or what force of fate brought us together, but I am eternally grateful that it happened. You've changed my life in ways I can't even begin to describe. Thank you, my love, for everything. For your patience, for your kindness, for being there when I needed someone the most, and for making me believe that I am worthy of love. You've given me a gift that I will cherish forever, and for that, I will always be thankful.